Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. Greetings, I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I know everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. It always is, even if we can't see it. But I'm excited yet again because my next guest has a business mindset, and that reflects also what she's involved in, mindset quality. Wow. Licensed clinical professional counselor, nationally certified counselor, degrees, PhDs, bachelor's, master's. We'll get into more of that military background. But without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Arielle Jordan. How are you doing, Arielle?
I am good. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for inviting me to share space with you today.
Absolutely. And I just want to say that, excuse me, I believe that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to spend some of your time, to choose to spend a moment of your time in the history of your timeline here with me on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolve, I want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you. So thank you very much, Arielle, for being here at this present moment.
Same. I feel so grateful to just spread some knowledge on your platform.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, if for those that weren't here, we were Arielle and we had a nice talk prior to this, so we might have to cut this segment a little bit short because we were using up the time. I believe sometimes I talk too much, but I believe in just being totally transparent. You know, I'm human. So, but let's just get right into it. Give us a little bit of, you know what? I want to start just like with this. Let's
Okay.
start with those books that you conveniently left out your bio. I want to talk about that just a little bit. Just give us a little introduction to what each book is and where we can find it.
Okay.
Find them.
Well, I accidentally left them out, but
All
since
right.
you called me out, I'm gonna have to add that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have this book behind me, Holding Space. This is my story of grief, thriving after traumatic loss. So I wrote that book because I lost my daughter in 2014 and my father, and started the divorce process all in 1 year. So for me, when we talk about traumatic loss, there was like three different types of loss,
Mm,
all of that while also dealing with racism in the military. So that tied into my next book, which is United We Serve and United We Heal. And I get into the racial trauma
right.
and how to heal from the racial trauma. And then my other book is a workbook called Mindset Quality Workbook. And that just helps you with guided journaling so you can get past any stuck points. Because I'm a trauma therapist, I recognize that we have stuck points. And sometimes we need just like a little bit of push to get through them. And so that journal is what I had in mind to make you be real with yourself and write it down. So those are my three
Okay.
books in a nutshell.
Okay. So, and I thank you for summing that up quickly so that we can move right along. But where can we find those amazing books?
So you can find them on Amazon. I
Okay.
have an author page. So like if you were to type in Arielle Jordan,
Right.
there's they'll pop up, and then you can click my author page and they'll have all three of them.
Okay.
Most likely one of them's gonna pop up.
Okay. Wow, wow. Yeah, so give us a little you mentioned that in the book that this inspired you to write one of your books. So give us a little bit of insight on, you know, your military background. Which branch of service were you in, and yes, what were you pursuing? And then give us a little insight as to maybe a couple examples of some things that went on that
Sure.
inspired the book.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. And so I had to write two books because I didn't cover that. And the like this one I'm focused on grief,
Right.
The other one, I mean, grief and healing from grief. And then the other one, I focused on the racism, but not just that, how to heal from it as well.
Right.
So I'm an Army girl.
Okay.
Uh, so if any Army listeners who so you already know, so the Army's tough,
Mm,
and it's already enough to join the service, leaving home. I was 17 when I joined, so my parents had to sign for me to join. And then after that, I was the Army's. So that is where it all began. And let's see, there was a few years that were, I think I was noticing like racist comments, but I didn't really pay that much attention, or I'm just like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna go on about my business.
right.
But one of my sergeants used the N-word,
Right.
and I had had enough by then, and I tried to do an EO complaint, which is equal opportunity complaint with my what was he? Commander. And
Commander. Yes.
he, yeah, so it didn't go anywhere. My
Mhm.
my complaint, I don't even know if it was written down at all, but I guess he called himself making the guy apologize,
Right.
which it wasn't an apology. He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were in the room." And
And I don't mean to
so,
laugh at it, but I just, man, just how blatant things, you
right,
know why I'm, yeah.
I, I
Okay.
I understand. It's funny, but it's not funny,
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes. So that was one thing that happened where I was like, this is why people don't complain, because it doesn't matter. And not only that, but it was supposed to be confidential. And the one other person that was there, she was Hispanic, and she came up to me like later on in the day, was like, so and so said what? And I was like, how do you even know? I didn't even, I mean, I was going to tell her anyway, but
Hmm.
I was like,
It
how do you
wasn't
even?
confidential.
Yeah, so
Right.
that was something. And then in 2010, I had to write the congressman to get my surgery paid for because I was in the reserves then, and I tore the main ligaments of my shoulder. And instead of getting treatment, I got, oh, well, we're back now, because we were in Nevada when it happened. But if you're on active duty orders and you get injured, you get taken care of. So I got treated, but then when we got back, my unit was in West Virginia. When we got back, they're like, okay, well, we're back now. So, so what I did was I took care of it myself. I went to the orthopedic doctor, I got my surgery. And so I think I was 20 then. And so I was just in a lot of pain, and I took care of myself. But luckily, my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and
Right.
he understood like how we can get, I guess, the short end of the stick.
Right.
So he told me to write the congressman. I wrote the congressman of Virginia. Congressman of Virginia steps in and it's like, hey, what's going on with my soldier not being taken care of? Like, I need something to happen. So they had to then go back and pay for my surgery, pay for the things that I inquired that were now on my credit report because I didn't have the money to pay for them.
Wow.
So
Yes. Yeah.
that was all before becoming pregnant. And when I became pregnant, I was 20, going on 21.
Oh, wow.
And they marked me unexcused, and I was a high risk pregnancy.
Mm,
So I didn't have the bandwidth to drive an hour and a half to drill. So they kept marking me unexcused.
right.
So I ended up losing my student loan repayment
Right.
that was in my contract. And years later now, I wish I had it,
Right.
but
Yes.
they
That's
kept,
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just like, okay, I might not be able to do anything about it, but I certainly can talk about the effects that it had on
Had
me.
on
And I
you.
remember being that young girl thinking that I couldn't be more,
Right.
and feeling like stuck in this little box.
Mm,
So I remember that I had to overcome that. And it's possible,
mm.
even after grief, death, loss, all of
Wow.
that. So
Wow.
I want to share that it's possible. I want to share that we can do it. And let me show you how. Here's some ways to do it. Try it out and then let me know how that goes for you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And you know what, I'm not going to elaborate too much because I want to get through this, not get through like rush you, but I want to hear everything. So give us a little bit, and thank you for sharing that. So give us a little bit about your, these accolades, education, bachelor's, master's. Tell us what you've acquired.
Well, let's see. So I graduated high school when I was 16 years old, which is
Wow.
why I was able to join the army at age 17. I the town that I grew up in, I actually experienced a lot of racism growing up there in Virginia. And
West Virginia?
no, this was Virginia, like,
Oh,
but they're like 30 minutes from each other. So,
right. Oh,
pretty close to the border.
because I think West
And
Virginia, don't they have, oh, no, excuse me, don't they have a base there, don't they?
yeah, so
Yes.
there's Army Reserves,
Oh, okay.
there's National Guard, there's Air National Guard.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what the base is, if they have a base, but there's lots of things there. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
But
Sorry for interrupting. I
no, you're
apologize.
fine.
So yeah, tell us about these prestigious degrees that you hold.
Uh,
Yes, yes. Tell us about that.
yeah, so but that's what led to me joining. I wanted to get out of my town. I wanted to do something. I didn't have a lot of options being that young.
Right.
So I knew if I joined the army, I'd be taken care of. That's what I did. I was like, what job can I get to get me out of here? So I became a culinary specialist and then switched to the reserves where I got my associate's degree in business administration. And after losing my daughter, I didn't want to pursue business anymore because I had just like lost my spark for a little while. And
Yes, rightfully so.
yeah, it's a
Right.
hard thing. It's very, very dark time, I remember. And
Yes, imagine so. Right.
I had to attribute it to a higher power because I don't even know how I came out of that, but I did have this
Yes.
something in me that was just like, you're too smart to like waste away or like let everything go to waste and just be miserable every day. This has already happened.
Mm.
So, although it's the worst thing that I could say, parents
Oh,
fear,
yes.
and it happened to me. Like that was my worst fear, and it happened.
Mm.
And that's when I decided I'm gonna help other people because if I can still be okay and stand on my 2 feet, then there's got to be some sort of a purpose in this. And I started studying psychology,
Mm.
and I fell in love with psychology. I love the brain, and I went to Delaware State and moved away from my town because then I was the girl who lost her kid and then
Mm.
her dad. And so like I get these sad eyes every time I would go somewhere.
Mm.
And not that it's not sad or
What I'm
I
doing
don't want
now, huh?
anyone, but if I'm going to Walmart to get some eggs, I just want to get the eggs. I don't
Yes.
want to be like, oh my God, are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I was
Mm.
encountering. Um, so I was like, I gotta get away. I
Hmm.
gotta figure out who I am now.
Right.
And I went to Delaware State to do that. And it was really cool because I already had a degree. So I didn't have to stay there 4 years. I was only there for two. And in that too, I learned a lot about me. I got my degree, my bachelor's in psychology. Then I started to work at a substance abuse clinic, at a methadone clinic, and I realized that I'm not making the impact that I want to make. And in order to make that, I need a master's degree.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I started to study for my master's degree. I got my master's in clinical mental health. And then I realized that I love to teach other therapists how to be diverse, how to be culturally appropriate, and just how to be better therapists. So I started to study for my PhD in counselor education and supervision. And so I've done all of the PhD program. I'm finishing my dissertation, so I cannot
Mm.
officially be called doctor until maybe another month or so from now.
You can be called doctor. Get used to it, because I already know. And you are what I like to call um, part of the solution, which means
Mhm.
that you will do whatever it takes to help be part of the solution, helping people,
Absolutely.
changing the narrative, changing people's mindsets in regard to, uh, culture and yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, and
absolutely.
I commend you for that and for being able to zone in on whatever it is that you want to accomplish and basically going through whatever barrier to get to it. I think that's an
Mhm.
amazing trait, and that shows your strength, especially, you know, all that you've been through. Now, we all have been through things, but this is about you right now. So,
Mhm.
yes, I just got my little 10-minute warning. So,
Seen it.
but yes, yes, I just want to commend you and keep going. Or you already know that. But
Hmm.
yes, tell us about this mindset quality. What is that?
So Mindset Quality is my telehealth private practice that I
Okay.
opened in 2021. Um, I did substance abuse. I did military mental health at Walter Reed, the National Military Medical Center. Then
Right.
I worked for an agency here in Maryland called Trauma Specialist,
Right.
which I was like, yes, I love not trauma, but healing, people
Yes.
healing from trauma.
Right.
Um, and I noticed that it just being properly trained
Mm,
and those type of things really make a difference when it comes to trauma therapy. It is
mm,
beyond anything that your degree gives you. You have to do many advanced trainings to get there and to get the confidence.
right.
So that is what led me to Mindset Quality because I wanted some freedom and I realized I could still be effective thanks to COVID, right? Could still be effective virtually.
Right.
And once I realized that, I was like, Lord, they shouldn't have told me that. I, I took off after that. I did my own business, got my LLC,
Wow.
I already had my license and got my insurance
Congratulations.
and all the business structure, right? Like, yeah, thank you.
There you go.
So it's just, the freedom that I was searching for and still creating.
Mm, it's still
So
unfolding. And that's when you became a licensed clinical counselor, professional counselor.
before that,
Oh,
but
before
when I
that.
was with the other agency, I got my license because I already had my degree. It's just like you have to get a certain amount of hours
Hours. Right.
to be licensed. So I got my license, and then I said, you know what, I want to do my own thing, and that's what I decided to do. And I also created a speaking business. Probably left
Mm.
that out of my bio too, but
You got too
I
much going.
created.
You got too. You know what? Yeah, that's why you left it. I can see why you left it out.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
you
to
got
put
too
that
much going
in.
on. You can't remember all that.
Yeah, I wanted to separate the speaking from the private practice.
Right.
So it's ariellenjordan.com.
Okay.
It's just my name, my middle initial, jordan.com. And that's where I focus more on reaching the group because my private practice, I do one-to-one therapy. And I was like, I'm only one person and lots of
Mm,
people need help. So if I could do workshops or keynotes or
mm.
you name it, I will come and do that, so it might be like 1 to 50 or 1 to 75 rather than 1 to 1.
Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. And while you're on that subject of sharing your links audibly, please share that one again. And if you have any other links, so that I
Oh,
make
sure.
sure that people can that are listening. Of course, I'll have whatever links you sent me in the description of
Mhm.
this. But while we're here, you know,
Yeah. So arielnjordan.com is the main thing that I'm doing because I want to start doing retreats because I love to
right,
travel.
right.
So that has the speaker page, the retreats. You can also get to Mindset Quality website from there.
Mm,
Um, the other things that I guess I would share would be my social media. Same thing,
right.
Ariel and Jordan. Mindset Quality LLC is I think the Instagram and the Facebook page for my business. But I try to keep it simple so that everything's the same across the board. So if you find me one place, you can find me the other places.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and we still got about 6 minutes. So I just wanted to touch on
Mhm.
something just briefly, maybe take
Okay.
2 minutes, 3 minutes. Because we were talking about this beforehand, different ways that trauma can occur.
Mhm.
You had lit something up in me when you talked about I can't remember exactly, but you said it went back to the grandma. Just give us a little insight on
Mhm.
that, on how you can
Mhm.
shine a light on trauma, where it can come from,
Yeah.
a few places it can come from. So we know what we're dealing with, that it's not just surface thing, that you just repeat a few affirmations and it's gone, or
Right.
you just aware of it. Oh, okay, and I could just change it
Mhm.
the next day. Yeah, give us a little insight on that, please,
Yeah, so
Ariel.
trauma can be very deep rooted, right? So I do EMDR therapy, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's
Mm,
another therapy modality that you get to the trauma center of the brain, and you add in bilateral stimulation that acts as like our eyes do for REM sleep,
mm,
and it will process you further through that trauma, right? And it'll make the connections that you need to make. So, for instance, I'm going to give you an example. Someone could have there's big T trauma and there's small T trauma. Some people think like it's got to be the car accident. It doesn't.
right.
It could be something very small. An example, it could be preschool. I'm going up to the board to spell something. Everyone laughs at me, and the teacher laughs at me.
Mm,
So now I'm humiliated. But now in my 40s, I still remember that time, and it makes me feel stupid to this day. So like I've learned in my trauma brain that I'm stupid.
mm.
And it's not necessarily true, but I feel that way. And so what I do as a therapist, I connect that, because they'll be like, "Oh, just happened in preschool." Okay. And I'm like, in my inside, I'm smiling because I know that's the thing, that's the root. And so we get to it, and there's a lot of feelings that come out because they're doing the tapping, or we're doing the eye movement. And it lights up the right and left side of the brain so that you feel. So now you're gonna feel that thing, but you're not gonna relive it. You're just gonna feel, you're gonna make the connections that need to be made so that you can let it go.
Wow.
So just like in school, when you take 4 years of Spanish and you don't remember it because you didn't use it, trauma can be processed like that too. When you fall and scrape your knee, you know it's gonna heal. You know it's gonna scab over and heal. The brain can do that too with some assistance from a licensed professional.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for sharing that, and being brief with it as well. I don't want to keep highlighting that brief, but just thank you, because we squeeze a lot of amazing content into just a short segment, and
Mhm.
my intentions are to leave people wanting more, and hopefully in the future, the near future, for our future, I can have you back on here as a guest
Absolutely.
again. I would love
Yeah.
to. But thank you. I just want to again express my sincerest gratitude for you bringing more value to not only myself, but to the platform and everyone that's watching and or listening. Thank you, Arielle. I salute you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for the support. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, share this, help the platform grow, help get this amazing information out there, help illuminate and expand, level up the world, humanity. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And be sure to check out the description of this segment or wherever you're viewing and or listening to this on, and look at the links. Get Arielle's books as well. Go on Amazon and type in her name, Arielle Jordan, right?
Yep.
Yep. And
You got it.
read her page and read about her, and read about her books and see which one resonates with you. I know I am, and that's for sure. So thank you very much, everyone. And until next time, see you soon. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. Love and appreciation.